to the Asian markets. Well, they are trading in the green following a strong handover that we saw from the Wall Street.
GST Council could not decide on what should be the borrowing option and who will borrow to make good for the shortfall of the funds in the compensation, says Kitty.
11,650 is a mark which we have not been able to cross. We've not been able to close above it. So let's see if we can this time take it out.
The interest rate is a financial variable, and a lot of financial frictions also have an impact on this, particularly the monetary transmission.
Deposits are up about 20.3% and 3.3% sequentially for HDFC Bank.
This time, the retail sales for JLR have improved quarter on quarter. China has definitely seen an improvement, and
we are starting 100 higher, almost 11,600 firmly crossed.
I think even in the banking sector, I think there are select banks which we think will do reasonably well in this quarter.
Markets wherever we are operating right now, we have started gaining the market share.
Pretty much at the highs of the session, there you go, 11,600. That's where the Nifty has perched for now.
The show timing, then the staggered show timing and the intermission, that isn't an issue at all.
Well, as far as the markets are concerned, trading well in the green. Of course, they're off the day's high.
Okay, we are almost back to day's high, but the problem with the market is that after the gap up, there's not much left if you're an intraday trader, and that's what's happened today. I mean, yes, in the last 1 hour, there's been a bit of a recovery. The mid caps have underperformed. The bank Nifty is again facing resistance at higher levels. So let's see what happens in the last hour of trade. Of course, today we have had some really big stocks contributing, the HDFC twins in particular, and in the last 15 minutes, it's TCS once again, which is really piling on the gains. And amidst all this, the global cues have been quite mixed. The futures market in US down a bit. So let's see what the last hour brings for us. Surbhi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Anuj. Yeah, absolutely. Even some of the European markets right now a little lackluster. There's a bit of red on the European screens, as you mentioned. So I take your point that, I guess if someone bought after the morning gap, you haven't made money. But the fact that the market has managed to stay above 11,600, this congestion zone, is that something that can be read positively?
I think, you can read it positively. Also, the fact that, there's a bit of a premium which is back in the Nifty futures is telling you that, traders are trying to buy on this market. But let's see, Surbhi, we are no longer at 11,000, right? We moved to 11,600 plus. Just in the last 10 minutes, there's been a big move which has happened in the Nifty. And I think that's courtesy, this move in TCS, which from the, red has moved into the green. I think that's propelled really the move in the Nifty. Just in the last 5 minutes, we moved to high point of the day, and that is courtesy TCS. You could also add perhaps an ICICI Bank, a couple of other names. So looking good. You could argue about the advanced decline. It's been weak in a sense. Market breadth is not that strong. Mid-cap index is underperforming, and that's been the case also this month. But today really has been about the large caps. Let's see if this time we can take out and close above 11,650, because that would mean that this would be the market which would make a fresh intermediate high then.
Okay, let's see if we can build on to this momentum in the last 1 hour. Well, here is what is coming up on Closing Bell today. It's been a steady day of gains on Dalal Street. Key indices are up well over 0.5% now. In fact, we're at the day's high with big gains coming in once again on the Nifty Bank. The mid-cap sector fails to outperform once again. So we will be analyzing all these cues with the experts. So Sushil Kedia will join in to track the technicals for us on a medium-term basis. Of course, we'll also ask him about levels to watch and what to do at the higher end of the range. And moving forward, quarterly updates coming in by HDFC beat street expectations on growth. The company says that September has seen strong home loan inquiries. You'll catch more on Stock 360 on HDFC today. IT, of course, is in focus. Morgan Stanley believes that after TCS, Infosys and Wipro could also be the next set of companies to announce buybacks. We get you the analysis and the rationale over there. Adani Ports buzzing around as the company completes its acquisition of Krishnapatnam Port. And they've done that at a lower payment than what was anticipated earlier. Lots of brokerage calls coming in on the stock as well. So we get you the full analysis on Adani Ports.
Okay, but how should you position yourself for this last hour of trade? We have Ashwani and Mitesh now joining us with closing hour strategies. Good afternoon, Ashwani. We are now almost back to high point of the day on the Nifty, even on the Bank Nifty getting there. Your thoughts and your last hour calls?
Today very significant events have happened. 11,580, 600 was a major resistance which formed an intermediate top. Now we tried to break 11,580 several times during the day but failed, and similarly on the banks 22,700 was a major resistance. Again, the rejection from there was not very strong, and plus the IT index was down negative 200 points, and that is now in the positive. So now basically 11,640 is left, and then you have a clean run towards recent highs of about 11,800. So definitely you've crossed a hump, and now it should be clear skies from here, and that's how we are positioned. 11,700 calls we are long on, but definitely the market has made a mincemeat of resistance today. And today, while it was sideways for most of the day, but definitely in the last hour or so we are now breaking into new ground. Having said that, one of my calls was Thyrocare, which has really run amok. I revised the target, it still went higher, so now we can probably let it go. So Havels is a buy with a stop of 690, target of 715. HDFC is still a buy because it's getting near its 200, so chances are it will cross it at some point. So that's a buy with a stop of 1880, and look for targets of 1960.
Okay, those are the stocks that Ashwini is going with. Thyrocare, really, what a move considering their numbers have been looking very good just because of higher testing, especially quarter on quarter. There's a big jump, and that's really one big stock in today's action. Let's bring in Mitesh as well. Mitesh, good afternoon. What do you make of today's market performance so far, and what are the trades now?
Good afternoon. So, we've been maintaining a positive bias, saying that the Bank Nifty could possibly give some fillip to the Nifty. Bank Nifty has been underperforming, and now it's past that 22,600, 650 zone. I think 22,950 and then 23,250 are my next two targets. So I think there's still more upside left on the banking space. So continue to maintain positive bias, broadly trading with long positions across the board. I have a buy on LIC Housing Finance with a stop at 281 for targets of 305, and Jubilant Foods I think could give some pullback, so that's a sell with a stop at 2360 for targets of 2275.
Okay, well, those are some calls that we have